Hi and welcome to the screencast. I'm going to be talking to you about the design of my website, the functionality of its interface, the products I've created, and how I've gone about designing and marketing these, and also a look behind the scenes about the SEO and analytics of the site. We'll start with the homepage. The image is from a wedding I helped out at. As you can see, the homepage is very minimalist. I've opted for a black, dark blue and grey colour scheme throughout my site. I've a series of rollover text at the top, which act as a menu. Also got social networking links along the bottom and a privacy policy should anyone need it. I'll point out here that I haven't actually used a theme on this site. Started with a completely blank page. I added the background photo, which was across my entire site, and then rectangles for my header and footer, with the footer all across the site. I changed the opacity of these just to give it a slightly nicer look. I added the menu on the top right and changed the settings of these because they just come with default settings. I changed the rollover colours and the text styles to sort of fit with the rest of my site. The rest of the site was just produced through trial and error. It was just seeing what worked, what did less so, and what fitted and what looked nice. The OT logo at the top links back to this page, the home page, which allows the users to reach the home page quickly when they're on any other part of the site. On the biography, I've tried to keep in mind my target audience when writing the bio. I've tried to keep the language and its tone quite professional, and I've also used a professional headshot to sort of reinforce the professional style of the site. On the store, as part of my site, I've actually created a series of packages which contain tutorials for the music software package Logic Pro X. These packages are available as a monthly or yearly subscription, and they contain a wide variety of video tutorials and worksheets, samples and other learning support. Throughout the store are a series of testimonials, which you can see on the top right, which I've created in Photoshop. These were really relatively easy to produce, and once I'd sort of created one, I could simply change the details as required for sort of each testimonial. As you can see on the site, the main focus of the page is the video, which details more about the packages and what's included in the price. The animation at the beginning of the video was created in After Effects. I'll take you over there. I created a series of layers with a motion path for each individual graphic. It took a while, but once it was done, it did look really effective. Once I'd exported that, I then had a brand identity to work with, and I could use this introduction on all the videos that I created and all the videos within each tutorial. I've also created 4 icons further down the page, which help reiterate the key points made in the video. I believe these stand out from the page as they don't necessarily follow the colour scheme of the site. Yeah, I sort of feel this works well as it draws the reader's attention to them. To create these icons, I used a graphics tablet which was connected to Photoshop. This enabled me to physically draw each icon and then smooth out the lines, and then block fill them once they were all drawn in. I've also stated that the courses come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so again, just sort of entice readers to buy a subscription. I've also detailed the positive attributes of a membership to sort of reinforce its value for money. If you move back up to the top of the page, you'll see a button which actually links to the actual courses. My shop structure is relatively simple. I have a host page which details the overview of the shop content. I've got a menu page which has got each product available, and then on each of these I've got a product page with the information of that product on and the relevant information for buying and shipping. So when you come on this site, when it does pop up, there's actually a pop-up screen on this page which sort of engages the audience to sign up to my mailing list. I figured that if they're interested in my courses, then they're probably going to be interested in sort of news, offers on the courses and sort of advice really. As you can see, 3 different courses are available. The graphics act as links to the respective page of each course. Now, to design each graphic, I imported the Logic Pro icon, the software, into Photoshop and stretched this to fill a larger space. I also imported a PNG of just a generic mixing desk, Selected 5 of the faders that I wanted, removed the background of these because it was a white background, and then placed them at sort of varying heights on the PNG, just to sort of mimic the live use of an actual mixing desk. I included the respective titles of each course with a gradient overlay on the software title. I used traffic light colours just to sort of mimic the intensity of each course, really. When designing the CD and DVD cover, I wanted the finished product to look 3D. This meant that I first had to create the 2D graphics, as you can see here, and then export these to a new project, where I could then sort of tie the product together with the front, the back and the disc all visible. So I added a drop shadow to each individual graphic to give it the 3D look. All of those shadows were in the same direction, just to sort of make sure the light source was the same across all 3. And I then tweaked the settings of that shadow to get the appropriate dissipation. The DVD cover follows the same process. The only difference being that I used the DVD cover sort of outline just to copy my sleeve onto. I copied the front, I copied the back, added a drop shadow, and then added the disc again with a drop shadow. I also designed a special offer graphic which enticed readers to buy a subscription to 2 courses to then receive a third free. As we click on a course, I'll go for beginner. An additional page loads detailing all of the specifics related to this. I've included customer ratings, which were also created in Photoshop. That was just sort of 5 stars with a block fill. I've included a slideshow of various screen captures relating to the course description, which again sort of entices the user to perceive this course as fun and exciting. The actual payment transaction is through PayPal. This not only ensures sort of a safe and secure transaction, but it also gives the buyer peace of mind knowing their card details aren't shared with anyone other than PayPal. When I was researching similar courses, I found the norm to be that payments generally carried out through PayPal, as they have their own customer support should there be an immediate problem with the transaction. When the user clicks buy now, they're redirected to PayPal's payment site. Upon a completion of payment, the user is presented with a download link to download all of the course's content. I've competitively priced my course with those similar on the market, allowing for flexible payment options of a monthly or yearly subscription. The shop itself is a plugin from a company called Power. However, due to the size and style I wanted it to display on my site, I wasn't able to actually run it directly from Wix due to their confinements. I had to build the shop on Power's website and then export the HTML code of this into Wix. So once I'd entered my PayPal details, I added the products I was to sell. I uploaded the files to be presented after payment, and I stipulated the price of it and how often it was to be paid, so either monthly or yearly or so on. I tweaked the visual settings to match that of my site. So again, the same colours and the same fonts. And then I exported the HTML code of that sort of widget to a widget in Wix. Further down the page, I've also included a brief description of the course content and also clickable images which take the user to the other courses available, just trying to keep them interested in the range of courses I offer. Again, there's also testimonials at the bottom of the page. I put a great deal of research into the design and functionality of the website. I base my products on the success of others that already exist. I know I could have gone down the route of sort of creating print out instructions in a nice book, or bundling the 3 tutorial groups together, or even offering disc versions of the lessons. But I found through research into existing products such as the Cobus method and BC300 and Jamplay that customers simply aren't interested in these. Subscribers and enrolments were much lower for the physical copies rather than the downloadable copies, which were the same that had many. I therefore streamlined my shop into individual products that are much easier to access and manage. As you can see across the other 2 pages, it's a consistent format that I've used just to promote familiarity, really. As we move on to the blog, I've tried to keep the house style consistent, following a similar formatting style whilst still ensuring easy accessibility. Each blog post has a snapshot of its content with a read more button available to see the full article. There's also a section for recent posts, an archive based on date, and a tag function to allow the reader to search for tags specific to their interest. To ensure the blog post can be seen effectively by Google, I've used tags for each blog post, also given descriptions of all the images used. Each post page has a comment section through Facebook and 3 social networking buttons for the user to share their article should they wish. The contact page is extremely simple. It allows the reader to easily get in contact with me via a contact form. It's a responsive form, meaning that should a section be missed, an error message will occur. As you can see, I've extensively ensured every aspect of my site is properly optimised for search engines. Every page has a description along with keywords associated with it. Every picture also has a description, and all formatting across the site is correctly in line with Google's guidelines. I've also painstakingly designed the website for viewing on mobile. Wix has 2 editors available, a desktop editor and a mobile editor. Now, once I'd actually created the website, I then had to sort of re-edit it, as it were, in the mobile editor to ensure it would be fit for use on handheld devices. As you can see, the site works really well on an iPhone. Everything's responsive and links work just as well as they should. I've linked my analytics account to the site with Google to view traffic details of users visiting my site. As you can see, I've had 88 page views from 47 users, which means almost half of my audience are actually returning to the site at a later date. I'd like to thank you for sitting through this screencast, and I hope you have fun navigating through the rest of my site.